Now, so we league table ni din. The reason why a club will be that top, now a be that second, third, the number of goals are ultimate share with win because about 3 points they are from Barcelona to Real Madrid. Obia 3 points. But Rich, the reason why out of the 8 clubs are Obia win on the first day, no Madrid and that one and say, or among clubs now almost a few goals in be 1 goal per Madrid 18 and ra 1 now Madrid share also was a penalty. I mean, I don't want to tell me that's a controversial and Obia make say me a Barca Nintina make us into 1 now Madrid share no was a penalty goal. Now Rich Obia himself a Jumana Xabi Alonso was so and Enra I think so among government will say probably is more bigger than the Ewun one, you know. Jumana no wedding. Now this is why I say so. We all know say Tima Madrid ending the ball and run plays in a 3-4-3. That is how they play. Inti Ozos, Ruben Garcia, Anti Budime. Say no Sasuna bo anymore 3. Then they play in a back 3 with 2 wing backs and a 2 central midfielders. Now Rich, but in defensive transitions, which majority of the time they will have to be in a defensive shape. No, what they do and they say, Rich, our back 3 come more close to accommodate our wing backs, you know. Until you see them majority of the time 5 defenders, which 2 central midfielders, you know, so there's no space for you to play in between the lines against them. Then Omaja Budiman Kwa anymore. Ubehu Ozos and Ruben Garcia also come in inverted say very, very compact. But Rich, Xabi Alonso decided to go 4-3-3. And it's already we also born a 4-3-3 now. He played in the back 4 of Trent, then the new left back, Benfica, Carres, then a back 2, and I said center half of Adam Militao and Dean Hoysen, then Uben Fifi. For me, problem no and Fifi no any anymore. Chiomani, Ada Goulet, Federico Valverde, Sam Medford no. It's supposed to be good enough. And you have your DM. Then you have your box to box in Federico Valverde. And I want a typical no Matena on him young player on him dribble in tight spaces. He know how to create with the passes. And I'll be anymore over Brahim Diaz, Vinicius Junior, and Kylian Mbappe. But Rich, this is the problem. Number 1. Real Madrid a team. A free thing in Rich, the reason why they buy the Galacticos and they say they want to show you personality first. And to see about Park and so now who Tony Cruz or Yembesho, who Modric or Yembesho, who Karim Benzema or Yembesho, who Cristiano Ronaldo or Yembesho, who Kylian Mbappe or Yembesho, who Gareth Bale or Yembesho. You just start table on the ground. You see those players and they exude a lot of personality. But Rich, there is no way you will be afraid of Ada Goulet. Even though on the ball. Chiomani doesn't give you that. Federico Valverde doesn't give you that. But he doesn't have the personality. Nobody is afraid of him. But he doesn't exude Real Madrid standard personality. Now, gradually, Rich, Vinicius is turning into Antonio of Manchester United. And you see, Bona Real Madrid airborne. So Washa, Rich, are you almost to unlock the defense of a defensive block team? Simply because they don't have a Toni Kroos with intelligent and vision pass from deep. Omunibi. Chiomani and Federico Valverde are workaholics. Omajumani work. They don't have the vision of Modric and Toni Kroos. Other Gule na wabese team ni muno. Rich, this is the first season over prime Real Madrid. I will bring you bebriabo. He needs to settle more. Then my last problem ni Rich. Semi-bo game na me bo front three. What I am expecting and I say, you better kutabo na. Then get 1v1 for the oboy your left and your right one. Rich, what the boy name of Vinicius? The Ebeman team impact or Real Madrid formation game against a team of one be defending and he said he will take you on. So on your beat you know about zones where that is why he become dangerous. But that's all I don't know what is wrong with him. Or possible on the Vinicius or the nice ball so I know the ball number 2 in Echi. No, I saw possible on Konechi. Because he doesn't have only the passion to take you on. But Vinicius, when he is able to go direct and dribble you into the box, and I don't even remember any memory in the game of him.
Vinicius.
And Rich, Sadio na make us the Vinicius anti Mbappe did it 90 minutes. Anytime he will dribble you. Or shot or create space with the dribbles. He was doing all the job. One man, a damn crowd of it. Look, Real Madrid should be careful. The team is becoming too much of Mbappe dependence. Too much. And Enra, a baby on no quiet, and I was a Real Madrid. And without him, Rich, I said, what you want it in the Akane. And that is a big problem for Tima, your friend Real Madrid. Now, of course, you see, I agree with the commentator on Abrante penalty. Look, the moment Mbappe led him, say person referee no ebenya any call against you, don't slide in. Say slide in. Na onai anka ball say in this situation na anka ball na reach any contacts. The first advantage a referee will be given to the player na no kuta ball. That is fundamental football. Say me a striker. Na me the ball rub box. Na me treko kakra na o slide in back. Na onai anka ball na there's any contact. I am not saying who initiated any form of contact. Reach what was sliding in now you defender now. You will always be at a disadvantage of a Kobe at say. And I think it's a Kotia, Tima, your friend Osasuna, and that was enough. Mbappe, BM had to redeem Tima, friend Real Madrid from the Nkabere, a very slow start. And all the players recognize that with Abantia, your friend Kylian Mbappe, and it was always going to be him. Why? There's Obiampom Beno. Meka Mohamed Salah. The PFA Player of the Year, Obiampo Me. Look, he had won the writers, he had won the Premier League awards, and the players knew he was the best. Rich Unim said out of all the awards, the Nkofoni Premier to surprise the one the players vote themselves. But Rich, Unim say, oh, I told the beer. Say, Omudi Mohamed Salah on Koma. Now, person Omuchine to a category of say. Look, more recognizing as one of the greatest to have played the Premier League. I don't know what reservation, Kaka. But Rich, I think I need to change some mindset. I need to change it. Because if you look at this, then it tells you about how great this guy is in the Premier League. It is true. Rich Odier, Premier League in the great players have been second league in him.
The great Thierry Henry.
Thierry!
He winning 2 times.
Yes! Cristiano Ronaldo!
Alan Shearer!
Wow! Kevin De Bruyne! None of the greats are in the Premier League. o the Lampard mu John, o the for Biabra. Obianiwa in the history of the Premier League, not even Steven Gerrard money ade, and I PFA Player of the Year no 3 times. Only Salah has done that.
Ran back to back to back.
Charlie, I think say me and when it dawned on me say look, when people say Salah is one of the greatest and they will go to debate with him, look, give them the opportunity to do that because I've been telling numbers and then you know Premier League in Rich Rich, I agree with this Premier League 11 no. I disagree with Fifi on Milos Kekech. Say Nkakuku. No. He played very well. Now, Unim Bibi, Rich, say Usha first 11 way out. It tells you a summary of Premier League story last season. It was a league that was fought between Liverpool and Arsenal. So they dominate the Alieno. Then there were some teams here. We were not, as they came in to surprise us throughout the journey. And Rich, they've had their players now impacting our story, in the team of the season. Nottingham Forest. Look at the Omuye last season. Marcel is there. And he represents what they were able to achieve. Alexander Isak is the reason why Newcastle is playing the Champions League. Because of the goals. Look at what Albert Efon and Chris Wood. And for me, and Bournemouth played very well last season. And Albert Efon and Milos Kekech. For me, perfect. Perfect for me. Rich, Rogers there, my young player, young player, you wrap it up with the normal ticket. We just mentioned them. Then we Betimia Bafina, Yabedi and Como. There's a sad news for Kumasi Kotoko fans. In Tiababa can want some Rich. Enra, me want you, Mrana. I could be tagging on my analysis via me why Isak is behaving the way he's behaving. And the guy gave me a very, very refreshing message. Say, Ayala, you are top because when they come here to Sadia, we are saying that. So Isak message the bar. Rich, what he's saying are broken promises and and I have explained what those broken promises are. The story is easy. There is Amanda Cleverly. Come Saudi Arabia for neighbor. She was part of those who brought them. And now shares with him. Now she on get him in work. Emma Yeska Kennedy room. She rose to become the sporting director of the team. Macabada say last season ever started. Amanda met Alexander Isak. And Comedia course was that the board was very, very impressed with Isak's performance and they will give him contract extension within the season. Now, up to the Amanda Kosro. Isak said yes. Amanda left. Then Paul Mitchell came. That is him. The new sporting director for Newcastle. Onunye. I'm from coach in Senebia. Rich, when they appointed Paul Bayern and Isak called on us, Amanda called. But Mijidi say, we're handing over notes. And Commander Kosuina say, one of our best officer. No, I can't share me say, within the season, Mobile extending a contract. No matter me to me seek him. Post Charlie, me buy any day. The board, need their mammy, any no man, I may share money there. So I promise, simply because even the profitability rules, yes, it can someone yet. And today, some Kumubia Kosode Yantopasie, Nayam Kokakra. Rich, when Paul told Isak that, Maka in October, then he extended Anthony Gordon a contract and gave him more money. Then Isak said, no, Paul, now they also want to me, Yamame, because many Amanda agree. No, you've done it for Anthony Gordon. And now, so yes, I one year. So last season, some conversation, I say, Anna, Isak, I can't tell Paul, say, look, I will leave after this season. I want to leave the club. And it's what say Isak here. I say, transfer saga na ekoso. The people at Newcastle already know about it. Because he has told Paul, see a boss is in here. Though they are we're losing trust and he want to leave. But Rich, you see, I agree with Obia Oka say, look, these verbal promises are becoming one too many. Victor Jokeres. Ademola Lookman, Isak, other players. Look, a room may be a rich, and ya no. I hear people on the but only major players in here, sir. Rich, they believe, say, whether people or not, you want their loyalty to play for you. And yes, me know what people, me do too. But only say me committed about me, people no mean to me more than I was on the mount. Now, with Isak crowd rich, Sir Anya Shekwan, he has been able to bring Liverpool. They are willing to pay 120. Now, what Isak is saying, and they say, look, my breaking a promise to me. Money people like air when me say any people so make you say. But you know there's a situation. Then Obini Sikaba, well over 120. And Sakab no the other me person me call. So get me off and let me go. Rich, me I think say there should be a compromise.
And then come back.
See you know, Regina me contract. Regina, my breaking me trust.
Solve a situation.
Fantastic.
The two parties, they make me feel
simple,
amicable way solve the problem. Me Newcastle. Adiaba Kwame Kachon said, look, Abranteno. Muyani Dentino on Bubi.
But you say,
Omujisica no man.
Rich, me know your dream. But I think, say, idea a delays idea no, and so and say, Newcastle in your replacement for him. Sakomuko says, Kohumani other players. Sakomunya. They would have said, oh, Biaba. Now, let's agree.
Jackson Hall. Jackson is Chelsea.
Jackson.
At least Premier League experience 2 years.
Rich, Monoma get to be boss in the next 20 seconds.
Say you cry or you play as all. Hotline is all. I'm running better nothing. You're proud of me if you tell me. My from 1 minute in the bubble. Buy for a prepared. And you need the home no money.
No, me prepare. It is in their DNA.
Eh, Nkuku some near go.
Oh, me prepare. Unim dientia. You've lost Leo Sani. Waton Kingsley Kuma. Ama Ernasa. In February, I can say, Moba started Bundesliga. A bunch of Jama Musiela is injured. And ka team be a top team be a rich and ka situation we when apre no say obeso spend this car in kuku so obebo o friend so mebo buy no mebo only na agree personal terms any problem then you say you betimi afa o only on loan because the board that take decision say if you na the play be a beba last minute biaro against a loan yes ade a yen koto. Can you believe that? Chelsea no Abrante no you be see a turn permanent no free so ko yemfa loan na dey wasaba na you say pe obi obeto no dabi you permanent buy and say sade a ene Nkuku no ya che ehun afiri ho. Now again Nkuku muni Chelsea ya o che mu afiri ho then you see enura ma fa phone na ma frɛ Manchester United ne Ghana to say masa na Nkuku ya nya no na ultimate bomber ya na Ghana to say mesrɛ mo Chelsea na mpesa mebo na mebo. Now rich me problem ni. Eto de bia ye wase ano. Ana say me bisa na ya na me gini kwechire too much ana say this thing should be simple to be done. Rich. So Manchester United our player be say Garnacho. Team you. Na o se ombo team ni biem. Ye nim de akoso Amore say team no ombo biem ni ade. Na o se Chelsea nkwa no person kwa. Na Manchester United so intimate because Manchester so much on 50. Chelsea so much kura cost require 30. One day I will explain side in the question. But it's my problem here. Can't Manchester United go for Nkuku and give them Garnacho? Would that be a bad deal?
Oh, aya. O di Nkuku story ne buy na. Make say me. Nkuku say wo kotona. Enema mienu na abehu. One any injury record. Abrante na so prepare do. Two. Oba Premier League no. Kakra na Abrante na be kire no. In the Bundesliga he was top notch. But the Premier League in
the Bundesliga he won the player of the season.
Yes, he was the player of the season.
Now Rich.
What the mini problem?
Rich is
but in the Premier League as a more doubt kakra.
Rich Sankonyo good player. Inter mpe. Bayern mpe. RB Leipzig can penny back. Juventus will not dance around him. A player when we need Bundesliga player of the season that.
Oh, well, Premier League now,
probably he needs a different environment. I have a money GTA. What I'm saying, NSA, look, who are Ganato? Or Soko? We're choosing club, our Pesoko. Club no a very, very good player. I also bow team anymore. He can give you some versatility. I'll bet me wow. Shouldn't be because maybe the if I sit on the Manchester United board, I would have told them, look, let's take Garnacho and tell Chelsea especially when they are not ready to give us Sika Epeno. Rich,
15 no meter.
Omuntia.
Any fair player.
So you see, so if the situation will get to a point where Manchester United will be forced to keep Garnacho, then why don't you go for Nkuku? Then give them, give Garnacho to them.
Yeah, G15 from Semi, near the tank of Nkuku.
You see, almost say, oh, also be so blue. It's Oya, slow Oya. Mammy, which it should have been.
Yeah, just Nkuku has almost some almost so much last minute. Because someone said, look, Abranton and Peno.
Yes.
Last minute, now be able to proceed transfer. Now, no, my book is German. 20, 25, 30, when you're not Abranton. Yes, I am Tom Branton in one on bench. Good. So one to a player, one to Obetzima, Obetzina bench. Obey, I didn't have much 30. Obey, this one, the mamma. I want to win Tono. I don't see a player, Obetzima with him. And Tom Pomo 50. If you are able to 20, they are fan cuckoo. Simple.
Rich, with your maintenance.
Player or prepare the end to an ida.
Say, no, Italy, we show more sports newspapers, major ones. There is Korea dello Sport, there is Rasmus Holland, the animal. There is Tutto Sport, there is Rasmus Holland, the animal.
Hot cake.
There is La Gazzetta dello Sport, Rasmus Holland, the animal. Only story, no. Who said, no, I catch you, say, no, Milan is your open. And Enre, Napoli do Jim. Rich, Milan taking the first move. Almost say, okay, you know, pen on loan. But the air contract, you say, man, you didn't buy my NSA. You do loan, you have an obligation to say, you better Abrantiano. Say, yes, idea, Manchester United will give Abrantiano to us. Even the obligation must come with some small conditions. But that is the move of Milan, I say. Or when you say so much to me, this idea in the bar. Na any option to buy a obligation say we the mom loan we are changing next season there mo beto na o metimi enya so Milan na make almost smart move on Abrantia fan was in Holland. Hey ade obi mpeno na obi so ko board meetings per structure obetimi dia kofa no sa na wi asiti o rich sa na wi ase etie mama ma 2 bet we coast we na mentena se na yentimi emedi enkomo no e wo fie enkomo na e wo fie na de papa na
Chelsea for no pa omo ne Newcastle no boko ya me free board no ma catch him say mo but so me o ma dwen so Branton so bobo ma intino chinchina 30 na beto a ye be keep player no
Rich Ochina ye be
na ye dia on tra bench any problem
Ochina o ye be di Garnacho komoni
no problem
because me gidi say mo ka ho.
Oh, I know there's so many.
Chelsea, Musa.
Yeah, Branton.
Yes.
Because you may be saying now, Branton in Yano.
Because you secure Chelsea, the Cotton Gatings.
Obia was a Branton in Yano. And the idea on here, there's a maybe first can say better.
Who is Chelsea, the Cotton Gatings?
And then there are
already and say, mobile for Eze from Crystal Palace to Tottenham.
Garnacho.
In
Garnacho 50.
And so there's a situation in Tina.
Nobody by grass 115.
Until we will come and discuss that. And you see, Rich, the entire Branton also will put any time. Because you say one major factor. I was say who discuss it transfer also what they underline and say, Rich, we are playing the last season towards the World Cup. And players will move good national teams, you know. Or says, World Cup. Garnacho, what's not Manchester United on Argentina and World Cup? No. 2 bet coast. First one, no, BWBD 71AA6. BWBD 71AA6. And a second one, which the last one, BWBD 73C63. BWBD 73C63. 2 bet to a consumer to make a screenshot na wakwa na rich
tie